Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino, CEO of Canine for Veterans. I have Jack Zek Jack with me tonight as our national spokesperson, and we have Tim Talbert. Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before I get into everything you helped Canine with?
Well, I guess first of all, Michael, thanks for having me on today. I know we've been trying to put this together for a
Yeah.
couple of months, so it's appreciate having me. You know, I I'm from originally from Morris, Illinois. Grew up in Morris. Went to Morris High School for a couple of years. Uh, Transferred, went to Joliet Catholic my last 2 years. Um, so I've been in the Grundyville County area for good portion of my life, and went to Eastern Illinois, um, eh, and then went to work for Joliet back in '94. Um, spent 4 or 5 years here. Then I took a good 10-year stint with Joliet down in Texas, opening our oil and gas division. During that time, got married to my beautiful wife Jean. I have three girls: Annie, who's a junior in high school; Maggie, who will be a freshman this year; and my youngest, Winnie, will be in third grade next year.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, you've got a nice family.
thank you.
That
So yeah,
sounds
I've been with Joliet since I started there in '94. So I'm going on, I think, 26 or 27 years. It's been a long ride, but a good one. Um, uh, like I said, I appreciate you having me on today.
well, Tim. I can't tell you when I got the call from Gina and Jim Glasgow. We have been looking for a training center. It seems like forever, and I'm sure Zach could verify that.
Oh yeah,
We just ran into one brick wall after another. Then I get a call from Gina and says, we may just have something for you. And I'm going, oh God, I don't want to get my hopes up, because we have so many veterans. We have a training center located in Chicago, Roosevelt and Central. Well, we have a number of veterans that live in the southwest suburbs, Will County, DuPage County. They can't make it and couldn't make it all the way to the training center in Chicago. Either their caregiver wouldn't give them a ride; it was too far. They couldn't Uber it in; it was
yeah,
too much money for them. It was just a lot of obstacles, one right after another. So we had been looking for a place, like I said, it seems like forever. Then when I got that call, they said, there's a place, Joliet Electric, we need to meet there. So we went there. I walked in and I couldn't believe the space that was available to us. And I
It-
thought, oh, well, how much is this going to cost? And they said, well, you need to thank Tim because Tim is donating the space to Canine because because Tim himself and Joliet Electric, they're such advocates of our veterans that he just wants to do something that's going to help these guys because he's aware that there's 22 veterans a day committing suicide.
right.
Well,
That story couldn't have been. It couldn't have happened at a perfect time because because my wife left the casino business and then took a job with Habitat back in October.
mhm,
So for the last couple of years, we've been letting Bert Badisher from ex Joliet cop, who's training the police dogs now. So
right.
we've been letting him use the place for probably good 2 years now, because they were down in Elwood and had they were in a building that had no heat, no windows, so they've been using it, and it was just a perfect segue. And so Gene knew that we were letting them, we were donating our space to him to help train those dogs. And when that conversation with Gene and Gina came up at Habitat, it worked out perfect. It was
Well,
timing.
I still can't believe it. When I walk in that building and I watch one of our training classes and I see 5, 6, 7 veterans in there training with their dogs, knowing that if it wasn't for your generosity in Joliet Electric, they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have a service dog. because
Oh my
we
God,
absolutely had
yeah,
no room.
I'm just glad we can be a part of it. I was amazed at what you guys are doing, and I'm just really glad that we can be a part of it, and we've got the space to donate. I mean, it worked out really well for everyone.
Zach, why don't
Yeah,
you tell them what it means to? I mean, you train there, Zach.
yeah, and the biggest thing was, Tim, is I live in Coal City, so I
Yeah.
drove for 2.5 years up to Chicago twice a week.
Wow.
And that's an hour and 15-minute drive, give or take,
Yeah.
depending on the day. So, with it being right here off of 53 and the I-80, it's great for me because I know what the veterans out here are looking for. They don't want to drive to the city. The reason why we moved out here to where we're at is because we didn't want to be in the city. So,
Right.
having something that's just a little bit closer where we don't have to really go past Joliet. There's that I-80 fable that everybody talks about down here that we don't like to cross and go north of I-80.
Right.
And
You like to stay in the back 40, right, Zach?
that's right. So having the training center where it's at and basically the freedom to do pretty much whatever we wanted inside the building to make it the way that we needed it for the trainers.
Right.
It really helped us to develop a different way of what we were training in Chicago, because we're able to actually kind of segregate the classes out a little bit because of the shape of the room that was there, the amount of space that we have available, and it gives us a lot more options of how we train the dogs. And the dogs are actually progressing faster in Joliet than they are in Chicago now, it seems.
Right.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That's due to the space that we have in Joliet. And you know what? Not to interrupt you, Zach, but it's just such a nice atmosphere. I mean, we've got the park directly across the street. Okay, so if the guys want to run their dog or do work their dog or exercise their dog, it's how much more convenient could that be? And the layout of the building. I mean, it's just a building has been a gift. And like I said, for Joliet Electric and for you to step up to the plate to help our veterans, we've got 76 dogs, last count that I counted, in our program. And even though we're losing 22 veterans a day, we have not lost one veteran that's in our program to PTSD suicide. These dogs, Tim, are a total game changer. And when we told them that we had a building that we were going to be renovating in Joliet, we couldn't get it done fast enough.
Oh,
they were just like when.
I know.
When?
I mean, geez, with Terry Darcy help pitching in, doing some of the transformation and
oh my God,
the painting. I mean, it was a good good combination.
They say God works in mysterious ways, and boy, he came knocking at our door. I got to tell you, because to get the gift of the building, to get the gift to have it remodeled for us at no cost to us. Jim Glasgow, the Will County State's Attorney, and his wife Gina, they are such advocates of canine for veterans. I mean, it's just an amazing thing what they do for us to try to help us and stuff like that. And for the introduction to you, well, I'll tell you what, I told them they got to go something to top that one. Because that was a game changer for us, that we could help that many more veterans because of your location. And like I said, anytime you're in that building, you go upstairs and just look at those veterans training, and you have to know in your heart that you're the reason why they're there.
Well, I'm a part of it, but I mean, it certainly took a little bit of a team to get it done, but still got to give credit to Gene and Gina for putting it together.
Listen, I can't say enough about Gina and Jim. Like I said, they have been advocates long before we got the building, and they always came up with things that they wanted to help us with and can do for us out of the goodness of their heart. They're amazing people, and I love Gina. Gina's so funny. I mean, she's just a great lady, and like I said, Jim, when he hooked us up, I was in awe, and I didn't want to get too excited.
I mean, when Gene came home and said, "Hey, Gina, they said they're looking for this, this canine group. They're looking for some space," and it was just the conversation they had at work, and I mean, and she knew we were doing those, helping out the full circle guys, K9, and it was just a perfect segue into that whole thing. I mean,
oh my God, it's been an amazing
that whole building, the whole front of that building might end up being a dog training center. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna, who knows what the future brings if we still got a lot of space left. So you never know.
I can't tell you how it changed the lives of these veterans and stuff. In fact, they thank me all. They thank me all the time, and I said, "No, you need to thank Joliet Electric and Tim because and Gina and Jen. It was a group effort. It really was. Everybody had a certain part in making this all work, and very rarely does it ever really just come together like it did. I mean,
you're right. It doesn't
just fell into place."
I know, and it came to place pretty quick, though, didn't it?
I couldn't have planned it. I couldn't have wrote it down any better. If I
Tim,
wrote it down, the way it happened.
Yeah.
That's a pipe dream. It ain't going to happen that way.
We're just glad we can be a part of it and help. I mean, help these veterans. I mean, that's the name of the game right there. So
now you're the CEO, so you actually run that whole facility then.
As of June. As of really January 1st was official, but this January 1st was official, yes. But I've been in VP capacity. I've been in sales. I mean, I've been obviously with the company, 27 plus years. So that just happened in January. So yes, I've got a great team. I got a great GM, great support staff inside. Like I said, we've got a lot of good long-term employees. 25, 28, 32s. I mean. And we've got a lot of young guys coming in. So so I do run the whole thing at this point, from January, and business is good. We're keeping busy and growing a little bit. So that's the name of the game.
Tim, you're always looking for some help, correct? I mean,
always looking for good people.
So if somebody has the ability to want to get their hands, I don't want to say dirty, but do hands-on work, this would be an ideal.
I mean, we hire a lot of mechanics, but we also, we've got a couple good welders. We got a welder that's 30. He's been with us 32, maybe 33 years. We've got a new one that's been with us too, that's been learning from him. So we got welders, we've got machine shop machinists, welders, painters, truck drivers. So I mean, we've got a good list of, availability as far as different types of jobs, because we got a small motor division, we've got our large motor division, we've got service guys that go out on on site and do testing, vibration, all type of motor diagnostics. So there's a laundry list of availabilities in our facility right now.
If there's any of our veterans that are looking maybe for a position like that, where it's ground level, entry level position, how would they contact you?
They would go to the site, to our website at JolietElectricMotors.com. There is there's a link where you can send a email with the resume to resume at JolietElectricMotors.com. You can find it from the site. There's a link where you can contact us, or you can just give us a call.
Okay.
So always just give us a call and ask for myself, and we'll go through the process a bit. Like I said, we're always looking for good people, and like I said, it's a good company. We're going to be celebrating 90 years next year.
90
years next year. Yes.
Whoa.
So the three brothers that started it, one of them was mayor of Joliet from 74, I think, to 78. The other two brothers were the main Bill and Jack Heck were the main two brothers that ran the business for quite a long time. But he basically started back in his garage, and we were Keck Electric for a while, and then in 54 we incorporated as Joliet Equipment Corp, and we were Joliet Equipment just until about 19, and then we just changed our name to Joliet Electric Motors. So we've been in this, we've been in Will County in this is I think our fourth different spot. We've been in our building I think since 75 or 76.
Wow.
This is our third location in.
That's amazing. It really is. Now, are there still the original owner's family connected with the company? The founders? And his screen has frozen.
Oh no.
There we go.
Yeah. There he is.
Back.
I was asking you, are the original founders of the company, are any of the family still actively involved with it?
No, not since 2008.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tim, we're obviously going through a little bit of an economic issue in the country right now. Do you see that playing any major toll, like cutting, loosening your workload at all that's at Joliet Electric right now, or are you guys seeing more business than you ever really have?
Like I said, we've seen some ups and downs. Obviously through the last 27 years I've been there, there has been some, it's been some tight, some tight months and some tight years.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I can tell you, since I've been there, we went to a reduced hours. I think we went to like 32 hours for like 3 weeks. And that's it for the last 20. I mean, as far as I've been there.
Okay.
We haven't laid anyone off in downtimes like in 08 when 09 hit.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a big backlog going into 09. It was all gone by the end of January. And we just kept pushing. We didn't lay anyone off. Obviously the overtime was cut a little bit. But we've always really survived through these economics. It seemed like, obviously with 90 years, there's been some tough years, throughout those 90, but
I'm sure
we've always pushed through them. And I think that's a good, really good sign for the company and its well-being. If this economic downturn does hit or something, goes south, we've been able to, to really survive through it and come out, a little bit better at the other end of the road.
So if we end up having an economic downturn, you're not expecting a whole lot of layoffs or anything major.
No.
We'd say it's probably a pretty stable work environment. No matter what.
It's very stable. I mean, we're pretty diversified. I mean, we're in oil and gas. We're in the industrial sector. We've got service. We've got sales. So we're really diverse. I mean, when oil and gas is going, they're drilling like crazy. I mean, it's always good.
That's great.
That always goes down, and it's always a roller coaster with that. But when it's good, it's really good, and when it's slower, it's still a revenue stream for us. It just got to tighten your belt a little bit and make it through until the next one comes up.
With everything going electric, is that going to be good for your business, or is it going to have any effect on it? I mean, according to the government, what they want to do now with everything electric,
yeah, it's a big ESG push. But everything is going electric, and that has been a big push for us the last 2 or 3 years. Obviously any drilling over the last 20 plus has been all either DC electric and now it's all AC. But now all the fracking, they've all moved away from diesel engines, and then they've went all to electric power, and that's what we're involved in right now. That's really kind of propelling our company to the next level.
Oh, I bet it is,
and it will. I think for the next 2, 3, 4 years, easy. We see a pretty good up cycle right now. So it's an exciting time for us. Like I said, we got to keep pushing, but the electric has definitely the electric push has definitely helped for sure.
God bless. That's amazing.
Yeah,
it really is. And again, I remember when you had those signs put up outside the building, the training center sign, and he froze again.
We'll give him a few seconds here.
Yeah, he'll be back.
There he is.
Back.
I was just explaining to Zach, when I pulled up and I seen that sign that you had made for us and donated for us out in front of that building, I went, whoa. If that doesn't make a statement, nothing does.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I'm glad we went a little bit bigger. We were talking about a little sign. I'm glad we went a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
You want people to see it. I mean, we had a lot of traffic through there.
You knocked that out of the park. You really did. I mean,
that's the only thing I would say about that location is there's more traffic right there than you would think there would, on a side street like that. So,
Zach, it's day in, day out, all day.
Oh
long.
yeah.
All day long.
Well, between the day that we went and seen it the first time that Mike took me over there and the day we opened, I probably spent close to 120 hours in that building. Getting it all ready for
right
grand opening and everything else.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you how many cars I've seen going up and down the street.
I'll tell you, for me, I couldn't ask for a better location. Not at all. I used to dread having to go to Chicago and, especially if I had to be there in the morning, like 9 o'clock, that traffic down 55. I mean, it would take me forever.
And it could be a 2-hour drive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was just crazy. It really was.
It's a good location. Seems like
20 minutes away.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's becoming a little bit more popular now. I mean, there's not much over there other than the park and, we got Pomps next to us and but with intermodal that's expanded, and I think they're going to end up redoing that road hopefully this year or next, because it's I mean, with all those trucks, but we get quite a bit of traffic, so it's a good location. I mean, it's half a mile off of 80.
Oh my God,
you can't beat it. Yeah,
it's a gift for me. It really is. Because I used to fight that traffic on 55. Oh my
right.
God.
I mean, and that building's been there. I think I got to find the exact date, but it's late 30s, early 40s, or maybe even late. Did you see something, Zach, on that?
Yeah. So whenever you go in the front door of the training center, of the building, and you make a right just past the double doors.
Yeah.
There's a plaque on the wall that's like 1943.
That sounds about right.
And that was the laundry school.
That was the Joliet Institute of Laundry, yes.
Yep. There was a laundry school before?
That was the Joliet Institute of Laundry, yes.
Really?
That's what it was built for.
That's why whenever you go upstairs, you'll notice that the floor is kind of wavy. And there's a couple pipes that stick up through the floor in a couple spots, and those are water pipes that would feed washing machines.
Oh, we had water pipes. Yes, we had water. We got water pipes everywhere. Yes. Yes. No, it's
I love your freight elevator, by the way.
So do I.
I'm telling you that's a lifesaver.
Really nice.
That's a lifesaver.
That comes in handy. Yeah.
It certainly does.
I don't want to sound redundant, but I know it was a group effort. Jim, Gina, you, Darcy. How it all came together, I'm still in shock, because like I said, my hopes were let down so many times. We went to look at so many buildings and it just wouldn't work for us, or we couldn't get any kind of deal with the people. And so then when you donated that space to us, I went home and I just shook my head. I thought, nah, something's up. Yeah.
Hey, no.
But I'll tell you, I can't. Our vet, like I said, you need to walk in there and watch the training class and just know in your heart that if it wasn't for your team that helped put this together, those veterans wouldn't be in their training. And we may have lost one of them.
I mean, that just gives me goosebumps.
We may have lost.
I mean, that gives me goosebumps, Michael. I'm just glad that
oh my God. They are so grateful, Tim. When I told them that we're going to be opening, I mean, ask Zach, they were just like, when? Because we had a waiting list of veterans, Tim, that were waiting. We had talked about, oh yeah, we're going to get another location. And they had all asked, well, when are you doing this? When's that going to happen? I want to get in and start my training. I want to get my dog. I want to do this. It ain't that easy, but we're working on it. And then when we told them that, Joliet Electric generously donated this space, and with the team of people that made it work, I got to tell you, I mean, you changed the lives of a lot of these veterans. You really. What about it, Zach?
Yeah, there's so obviously out here where I'm at, there's not nearly the same population amount, but there's a lot more veterans than you think there would be out here. And the veterans that I've talked to and I've come across and pushed towards canines a little bit, mentioning that, there is a training center just up the road.
Right.
I mentioned that we have a training center in Chicago, and immediately the answer is no. I don't want to go to the city. But as soon as you tell them, well, there's a training center in Joliet now, they're more
There's a whole different light on it.
At least look into it. Those that really need it, they're going to do whatever they can to try and do it. But those that are kind of on the edge that they could benefit from it, but they're not necessarily dire need of a service animal, they're a little bit more reluctant to jump on board if they got to drive an hour and a half to go to training. Or if they got to if you got to go 25 minutes, that's not bad.
No,
that's a trip to Walmart for me. So
right.
And it's easy parking.
Yeah, it's easy parking, right?
Yeah, that's what's great about it.
No,
Tim, I can't thank you enough for doing what you did, Joliet Electric. I mean, the list goes on. Jim Glasgow, Gina Glasgow, Darcy, yourself, your wife. If your wife hadn't talked to Gina and mentioned to Gina that there may be a possibility, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you, wife, because
100%.
That's what started this wheel going. And, it just made such a big difference in how many veterans we can help. Really.
I mean, if you can start packing that place and helping them, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Tim, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being my guest tonight. You're an amazing man. I'm proud to call you a friend because you have really been a friend to myself, to K9, and to our veterans. And again, without your generosity and the generosity of Joliet Electric, who made this possible, I mean, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today. So every veteran that walks through that door now has the hope that they're not going to do and take their life because of their PTSD.
That's great to hear. I'm glad we can be a part of it, Michael. I'm glad it all worked out. And like I said, we're just glad to be able to support, where we can.
It's an amazing gift. It really is. Tim, thank you for everything. It's not enough to say thank you, but thank you.
I appreciate it, Michael. And like I said, hopefully we can keep it going and support where we can. That's all.
We'll post on our Facebook page and website too, that if they're interested in looking for a job, where they can go and who they can talk to.
I appreciate that. We're always looking for good people.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you. We appreciate your time tonight. You have a great evening.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon.